It says live.
We are live now,
We're
sir.
live now.
We're ready. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order today the February the 11th, 2021 City of Kenner Council meeting. Do we have anyone that would like to have prayers for our community, family, or friends? Councilman Wilmot, you can go first.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a longtime friend of mine who passed away. His name is Eric Weisborn Sr. He left behind a wife, Brenda, their children, the stepchildren, and also close family members of his and hers. And I ask that you keep those people in your prayers on his behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I too would like to ask for the prayers for everyone for a few District 1 men and women who have gone on to glory. First, Mr. Sherman Urson, second, Mr. Barry Ellis, and third, Ms. Lillian Berry. I ask for your prayers for their family and friends. And I would also like to, at this time, welcome Pastor Robert Tanner Jr. to lead us in the invocations. Pastor Tanner is the senior pastor at Community Baptist Church, and I really appreciate him being here today, and as always, an advocate for the city of Kenner, and particularly District 1. Pastor Tanner.
Thank you. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for entrusting us with the stewardship of governing your people. We pray, dear God, that you continue to lead us and guide us in every decision we make. Understand that we represent you and we represent your creation. We thank you for how you love all of us and how you love us all equally. Dear God, we trust you in these times to continue to guide us with wisdom, with knowledge, and with understanding. Give us the confidence we need, dear God, to perform the will of you and your people. Give us, dear God, the courage to carry out the mandates that are before us. Have us to always appreciate, dear God, that we're in these positions because of you, because you've allowed it, because you have made it happen. We trust you now, especially in these days. We trust you to tell us what to do, to lead us in our doing it, and then make it well in your heart. We pray for those people in this district who have lost loved ones, lost family members. We all know what it's like. We've all been there. But you have always brought comfort. You've always brought strength. You've always made us able to get through it. Dear God, we see every person we serve as our brother, our sister. Every person we serve, we see as an extension of our family and who we are. We thank you, dear God, for the city of Kenner. We thank you for our leadership. We thank you, dear God, for the people of this great city. Continue, dear God, to let your love shine upon us in everything we do, and we'll continue to do everything we can that is praiseworthy in your sight. We pray this in Jesus' name, that all is done well and done for your sake, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very, very, very much, Pastor Tanner. Fire Chief Morris, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir?
I pledge allegiance
To the
to
flag.
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum. Is there any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor? Seeing none, under the consent agenda, we have item 1, approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of January 22nd, 2021. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. We have none. Item 4 is correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads. Item 4A, at the request of the administration, a report from Mayor Zahn.
Mayor Zahn, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Council Chairman. I appreciate it. I have a few things that we have to get to, a lot of important business because we have been gone for 3 weeks and a few things have happened in those 3 weeks. So if you can bear with me first, it's kind of hard to do this, Council President, with proclamations on Zoom, but these are two things that I don't think you can go any longer without being addressed. I know we have members, or at least Christina Sully of the Conchita Sully family here, and I do want to present, and we will get this to you, Christina, if Stephanie and your brother are here, also it goes to them, and also your dad, but we will get this to you as quickly as we can. It is going to be a proclamation for your mother. And let me say this before I go into the proclamation part. Conchita Sully passed away a couple of weeks ago. She did a lot for the Hispanic community. She did a lot for the community just as a whole in the city of Kenner. And sometimes we don't always recognize these people when they're here, but she lived in District 4, and Councilman Brannigan and I, along with the rest of the council, thought it was important to recognize her contribution to the Hispanic community, but also to the city of Kenner as a whole. So Christina, like I said, if the rest of your family's here, it's for them also, but it's also thank you for being here, because I've been informed that you are here. Whereas Conchita L. Sully was born in Managua, Nicaragua, and raised with her family in Kenner, and was an exceptional business and civic leader for nearly 40 years, passed away last month. Whereas Conchita Sully worked with the city leaders to establish the Hispanic Resource Center here in the city of Kenner, located grants for computer programs for English as a second language classes at the center, was a member of the city's Economic Development Committee, and was also a mentor and model for the Hispanic community. Whereas Conchita Sully became a realtor in 1980 to start her own company, Conchita L. Sully and Associates, in 1984, and served with distinction on a number of real estate boards and organizations, including serving as the last president of the Jefferson Board of Realtors, volunteering for Realtor Association at the local, state, and national levels during her career. Whereas Conchita Sully put her family above all else in her life, believing her proudest accomplishment was being the mother of 2 sets of fraternal twins, and is missed by her beloved husband, Stephen W. Sully Sr., her mother, 4 children, and 9 grandchildren, as well as their entire family and many friends. Now, therefore, I, Ben Zahn, by the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Kenner, with the city council and our police chief, proclaim February 12th as Conchita Sully Day in recognition of her 4 decades of accomplishments and contributions to the community. Christina, this is for you and your family. If you need more copies, we'll get those to you. We will get this one to you, and you let us know if you need more. At this time, usually we bring the family up at a real live meeting. With the pandemic, we wouldn't be able to do that anyway. And they usually say a few words. Christina, I didn't have a chance to talk to you before, but the floor is yours if you want to say something. If not, we totally understand.
I'd just like to say thank you for recognizing my mother and all the things that she did. Kenner meant so much to her and all of us as children growing up. So I really appreciate the proclamation.
Thank you, Christina. We will definitely get it to you, and send me a text or get in touch with Michelle if you want more copies.
Hey, Mayor.
Yes.
One other thing too, Christina, we usually get a picture of the council with the family. So smile, I'm going to take a picture. Thank you. Oh, wait, Ben took his glasses off.
I know. Well, you get past that 50 mark, you need glasses.
Hey, we'll take them off again then. All right, now I got it. We'll send you a copy of that picture, of a Zoom picture.
Thank you, Councilor Seguin. It was a very good idea. We're going to do it one more time. So we got one other civic leader. Members of the Clessy family, LaCour family are here with us. Tara works for us, works for my administration. Tara LaCour has been an asset to our administration, but also Marie Clessy. We also lost Marie Clessy right before Conchita, another civic leader, another person who did numerous things for each and every one of us throughout the city of Kenner, lived in District 4, worked with many mayors, many district council people, many at-large council people, and gave a lot back. I mean, while I've been mayor, I think I appointed her to 2 different jobs, volunteer jobs in the city of Kenner, Housing Authority, and also Economic Development. 2 jobs that she did very well, and she had continued to do very well until she got to the point where she could no longer do those things. So up to the last minute, she was still contributing to the city of Kenner. And Tara, we definitely appreciate that. I don't know if the rest of your family's here with you, but we do have a copy for you and your sister. So Council President, if you could let me read this one also, and then Councilman Segura, you'll be ready to do your picture again. Whereas Marie Clessy, who owned her own insurance agency in Kenner, was both active civic and political leader for 30 years, passed away on December 20th, 2020. Whereas Marie Clessy spent 8 years as a math teacher and in 1980 became one of the first female State Farm insurance agents in the state, opening her own agency here in the city of Kenner and living for the past 3 decades in our city. Whereas Marie Clessy was chosen in 2019 by Mayor Benzon to serve as chair of the 18-member Kenner Economic Development Advisory Board, was elected as an at-large member to the Jefferson Parish Republican Executive Committee, where she served as secretary, was also elected to the Louisiana Republican State Central Committee, was a co-founder of the Kenner Professional Women's Association, was active in the Kenner and Jefferson Council on Aging organizations, also held prominent positions in a number of local political and community groups. Whereas Marie Clessy is missed by her daughters, Tara Clessy LaCour and Laura Clessy Ray, 4 grandchildren, Jamie LaCour, Ishay, Jenny LaCour Roy, Joshua H. LaCour, and Matthew B. Ray, and her first great-grandchild, John Roger Ishay, and I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, Tara, as well as her extended family and all of her friends. Now, therefore, I, Benzon, by the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Kenner, with the city council, our police chief, hereby proclaim February 11th as Marie Martin Clessy Day in recognition of her many accomplishments to make Kenner a better place. Tara, I have a copy for you and for your sister. Like I said, like I told Christina, we wish we could be live doing these things, but we're still not to that point yet. I will get the copies to you and to your sister as soon as we can. If you need more for your kids or your nephew, please let us know. But we appreciate what Marie has done. Tara, you're welcome to say a few words. I know you don't usually take the floor and things like that. I should have asked you earlier today when I saw you, but you're welcome to say something. If not, we're going to take the picture from Councilman Segura. And again, your mother was an asset like Conchita Sully.
I'm on. I just want to say thank you, Mayor, council members, and just for the proclamation. I know my mother would have really appreciated it. So thank you again.
You're welcome. Councilman Segura.
All right.
Ready?
Everybody give a smile. Okay. Tell
Thank you.
Bob he's out of a job.
All right. Councilman Carroll, I do have a few things to go over, so if you could bear with me, I would appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
We recently did a
Mayor, before you go,
Sure.
I just want to give the opportunity to the council members to say anything about Ms.
Sure.
or Ms. Clessy, because these are 2 individuals that cross district lines to support our community. So if anybody wanted to say something, I'll go first and say that Ms. Conchetta, Ms. Clessy also supported us, me on different things with different people. So, to the family and friends of both families, God bless you. We'll keep you in the prayers. Any other council person or a director like to say something? Councilman Brannigan, you have the floor. You have to unmute. There you go.
I'd just like to say it's awesome to have these 2 people as past Kenner residents, and they are the definition of a great Kenner resident. And it's just a situation where what they did for our community, you just can't measure it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman McKinney.
Thank you, Council President. I too want to just thank the families of both Conchita Sully and Marie Clessy. You're very lucky and blessed to have had wonderful mothers that were civically active in the community and gave back to their community, and great role models for both you and for other citizens. I worked very closely with Marie Clessy on the Kenner Civic League and got to know her, and it was just a pleasure. And I think both of these ladies contributed to Kenner, and like George Brannigan and like Councilman Brannigan said, they are just model citizens and great Kenner residents hopefully we can all end up being as great citizens and great active civic residents as they were in the past. So God bless your family, and we'll always remember them and their contributions.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Segura.
Thank you, Council President. Yes, it is partly disheartening to know when we lose great people, especially these great women that were very, very active in our community for decades, because I know as far back as I can recall that knowing them, they were very active in helping make Kenner a great city. And I know their children are missing her or them, and we certainly feel. But I know Christina and I know Tara, y'all are great women too, and I know y'all will continue some of the great work that your mothers have done, and we look forward to seeing y'all carry on forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Wilmot.
Yeah, I too want to just mention, as everybody else has mentioned, these two ladies have done so much for the city of Kenner. They made the city of Kenner a much better place to live for all of us. I just wanted to expound my sincere condolences, and I thank the family for their contributions and their parents' contributions. And outstanding, just outstanding people, and we got to contribute and thank them for what they've done for the city. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. I do not see any more hands, and Mayor Zahn, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Council Chairman. Like I said, we have a few things to go over. We have a few speakers in these comments, but let me just talk about first some code sweeps. In District 3, with the help of Councilman Hayes' office, we swept the 4300 block of Idaho on one side, and the other side, 4300 block of Georgia. About 13 violations, not a big, ranging from abandoned vehicles, building maintenance, to unsafe electrical, and even rodents. Not a lot of numbers, but then we jumped over to District 1 with the help of Councilman Carroll's office, 2600 block to 2700 block of Dawson and Augusta, 20 violations. Again, with Councilman Carroll's help, his office, the District 1, in District 1, 100 to 300 blocks of Clemson, 20 violations again, something that Councilman Carroll and I in the Code Enforcement Department, along with the help of James Mohammed and all his staff, are going to concentrate on more. It happens. Sometimes you see low numbers, sometimes you see higher numbers. Just got to do a little more work there. So I appreciate everyone who was involved with that. Not good news. Like I always report the last few meetings that we've had when we get the tax numbers in. Our sales tax for December of 2020 are in. We are down 8.6%. That is about $305,000, right at $306,000 compared to this point last year, meaning 2019. As an overall sales tax for the fiscal year, we're down 13.16%. When you compare that to dollars for this time in 2019, for the December of 2020 compared to 2019 December, that's $3.4 million that we are down in sales tax. Later on, we're going to talk about some other tax renewals that are coming up. But when you're just looking at sales tax, that's an issue, guys. That continues to be an issue. And hopefully we see some relief of that very soon. So again, keep that in mind as we're going into budget season. We've got to absolutely keep in mind how our sales tax are dropping. This was not happening until COVID. So we've got to reassess as much as we can and get through that. As we're talking about assessments and reassessing things, the road assessment is complete. I sent a copy to each and every one of you today by letter. Your hard copies, as I've discussed with y'all in the past, will be delivered as soon as possible, probably midweek to latter part of last week, because the city will be closed Monday and Tuesday. In summary, we have $46 million needed in upgrades. That's a lot. Each year on top of that, we're going to need $6.5 million to keep those annually, to keep those roads up, to maintain them properly, something that has not been done in the past. So when you look at 46 million that's needed in upgrades and 6.5 million a year just to keep those roads up to where they should be, there's a little bit of an issue because the road millage that we've talked about in the past brings in $3 million off the road millage that comes in annually. That's something we have to look at. I'm not saying I have the solution. It's just something that this administration needs to look at with each and every council person to figure how we're going to assess that, how we're going to make that happen. The first person I'd like to call on, and Councilman Carroll wanted to come back to me after this person speaks, after the council has some questions, is I believe Blake Dardar with Principal Engineering is here with us. Adam, is that correct?
That is correct.
Blake and Henry DeFranco were given this task. I got to say that they did a fantastic job. I don't think Blake and Henry knew what they were getting into because we have promised this for a few months now that we were supposed to have it. Look, blame it on me. Don't blame it on the engineer because they probably didn't know what they were getting into totally. And when they got into it, they kept telling me it's coming because there's more here. So Blake, I want to thank you for your patience and also the council's patience, but your patience, Blake, along with Henry DeFranco, if he's listening, for taking on this task and completing it and getting it to us, because it probably would have taken a little bit longer had we not stayed in total contact with you, making sure we get this. So Blake, thank you. And I'm going to pass it on to Blake. If y'all can hold your questions, Council Chairman, until after Blake is finished, and it'll come back to me. Thank you.
Hey, Ben and Councilman, thank you very much for the opportunity to work on this project with you guys. We're sitting here and I've got with me Andre Monod. He's Vice President at Principal and was responsible mostly for the study. So he'll probably be answering most of your questions. We think the report speaks for itself, but certainly we're here to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, sir. Does the other gentleman have any words to say? Would he like to say anything?
Yes, sir. Well, I can say a few words about the evaluation and the report. It might warm you up and help the questions flow. So through 2020, we sent field technicians to physically drive and evaluate every segment of Kenner-owned roadway in the city. We cataloged the condition and described the pavement type and put that into a pavement condition model developed by the University of Michigan. And what that model does is several things. It catalogs the condition and it predicts the future condition of the pavement. And if you tell it what it costs in South Louisiana to fix pavement with certain deterioration, that is what it costs to replace a segment of asphalt street or to fix a piece of concrete street, it can develop cost models to predict your current and future maintenance burdens. So that's what we did, and that's what's contained in the report. So the figures given by the mayor are our best guess based on past experience and on this model. It's very possible if the city embarks upon a maintenance program and we keep looking at this and keep up the model that that the numbers given could move a little bit as we get some experience and can better predict future trends.
Thank you, Mr. Monet. And if I can just ask the council to hold their questions, I think Mayor Zahn had another piece to add to this before we started asking questions.
No. I'm sorry. It's up for y'all now. It needs to come back to me because I still have about 2 more people I need to turn this over to.
Okay.
Not on this subject though, Councilman.
It's a separate subject. Okay.
2 separate sub issues.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments, questions as it relates to the Councilman Wilmot?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Monet, I just wanted to ask, judging from what you said and somewhat from the report that we got today, it's my understanding that the streets of Kenner have been assessed thoroughly. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you're familiar with all the needs that we currently have that need to be corrected. And it's in your report, I presume.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. It's a good starting point. Like I say, I had a chance to just brief through it, but I didn't get an opportunity to do a thorough exam. What I want to do is it in the report, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, it is.
Okay, very good. I will take a good hard look at that after the meeting, and I'll look forward to it. And I appreciate all your hard work on it and getting it done, because it's critical. We need to keep our roads up. So thank you.
Councilman Segura.
Thank you, Council President. Mr. Monet, I just, as Councilman Wilmot said, we received it this afternoon. I did read through it very carefully, at least this portion. I know there's many other pages that are going to be delivered to us when the full report comes. But I'm anxious to sit down and continue, I guess, discussions with yourself and the administration, because my first pass through it pretty much showed that between District 1 and District 2, we have the worst streets in the whole city. So obviously, there's going to be some questions by both Councilman Carroll and myself on how do we go about getting them fixed. And I know the mayor says we need the money, but looking at what can be done as quick as possible for the worst streets is something that I want to tackle right away. So thank you for your time to get this report done and give us a blueprint to work forward, and look forward to working with you to get to work on some street repairs. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Carroll?
Yes.
I believe Councilwoman McKinney has her hand up electronically as well.
Electronically. Oh, okay. Councilwoman.
Last week to do that.
I don't know. I can't see that, but since you told me, I'm gonna believe it. Councilwoman McKinney, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just want to say that I think that this is a great step forward. I think one of the most important things that the city can provide are streets and the maintenance of the streets. And I just applaud the administration, as well as the company that did the assessments. That thank you for your hard work. This is a step forward, and it's so important because it's something that touches every citizen of Kenner. There's no citizen of Kenner that does not drive on one of the roads in Kenner. So, this is an important thing. And in my opinion, it's one of the most important things that the city can do for our citizens. So I appreciate you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Brannigan.
I love that we're doing this. The bottom line is when I go to Lakeview to visit my grandkids, and you lose half of a car driving on those streets, we don't have that bad of a situation here, and this will make sure that we do not ever get to that point. So happy with the start. Good job, administration. Good job, Providence. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I would like to say thank you guys and your company for your report. Thank the administration and the mayor for getting on this. Like he said, we're a few months tardy with this, but it's better to have than to not have. So we appreciate that. And also I'd like to thank Councilman Segura for his acknowledgement of District 1 and 2. But I also want to point out, it's not just the fact that we are terrible drivers in District 1 or 2. The fact is we are the oldest part of the city. So if you weigh that into what he said, then you will understand why our streets, which are smaller, we probably have more asphalt, particularly in District 1 than the other districts, but that's explainable. So we look forward because we all drive throughout the city from the river to the lake. So it is important for us to maintain the streets throughout the city, which will benefit everyone in businesses and schools and everything. Because when people move into a city, that is one of the things that may not come up on charts or it may not come up on reports, but they look at that, the way the streets are. So we look forward to this, and thanks a lot, guys. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Is that every council person?
That's it. Yeah, I don't see anyone else. Yeah.
All right.
I just want to say thank you to all of you guys for giving us the opportunity to be involved with your road management program. And we stand by to meet with anybody and discuss any of your concerns at any time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Blake. All right, Council Chairman. I also want to thank everyone who's taken the survey online for Rivertown Esplanade Mall study. I also want to remind all of our residents, you have until March 8th to go and take the survey. It's very simple. Click on the plan announcement in the rolling banner on the city website. So if you haven't taken that survey, something that's being done by Economic Development Department in the committee with Candace Watkins is heading up. And I tell you what, we had some good participation. I think I talked about that last time in the last Zoom meeting that we had on this. And we looked forward to that group hopefully being able to come here sometime in March if the pandemic allows. Tamithia, are you ready to give your brief report on community development grants? And I got one more thing, Council Chairman, and then we'll wrap this up.
Yes, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to speak. This one, we had a discussion last time about our action plan and how we will spend the funds as relates to the rental assistance program. I met with Jefferson Parish on this week. They sent me an email that we should in the future be receiving another $340,000 for rental assistance. With that additional $340,000, it will allow us to not only serve those people who are in the program for a 6-month period, it would allow us to open up a new program to serve people with rental assistance who've never received any rental assistance with the other 2 programs. So once we get that funding, it should be going before the Jefferson Parish Council. Once we get that funding, you will be getting another amendment to add that funding. So just want to let you guys know we are still working. We're still trying to help people as much as we possibly can. And like I said, in the future meetings, you'll be seeing a piece of legislation that will come to add the $340,000, bringing us up to $508,000 for rental assistance in the city of Kenner throughout CBRA program.
Attorney Shaw, if you would please, because lots of time I get calls or get emails from people who are privy to the internet, and they see numbers from community development, from Jefferson Parish, and they assume that we are our own parish. Could you explain a little bit how that money comes from the parish down to the city of Kenner?
Yes, the city of Kenner, along with St. Charles Parish, we're in the home consortium with Jefferson Parish. To get money directly from home from the parish, you need to have a jurisdiction of more than 200,000. Because St. Charles doesn't meet that by itself and Kenner doesn't meet it by itself, we joined with Jefferson Parish many years ago in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, to form a consortium. And with that consortium, we get a portion of the money. Because we've gotten money and we are in more need than we normally get because there is a formula. That's how we get our allocation every year from Jefferson Parish. Because we are in need of more money, they've agreed to allocate more funding from the funding pool to assist us with serving everyone that's currently in the program.
Thank you very much. Because, I can remember at one meeting, the mayor and I got beat up because supposedly we got millions of dollars. And, it's kind of hard to explain to people sometimes how this goes. And you may have to keep saying this, Attorney Shaw, at every quarterly, yearly meeting. But if so, that's what's going to have to happen because we just don't get all of that money. And
no. When the money comes in, it comes into Jefferson Parish. We get about maybe 10% of the entire allocation. So if the parish gets $1 million, we only get about $100,000 of that because it's based on your population. We have a little bit more than St. Charles Parish, so we get a little bit more than St. Charles Parish, but that's how it's done.
Thank you, Attorney. Mayor Zahn, you have the floor.
And the last thing we have is something that's coming up on to be voted on by the people of the city of Kenner. It's our millage renewals. This is something that, we've talked about. I believe we had 7 council people agreeing when we put this out there. And I want to thank the council again for agreeing to put it out for the millage renewals. Extremely important. But to make sure we get that message across to all of our constituents and get the message across the right way, that it's just simply a renewal, I thought that we should bring back in someone that is used to being on TV, used to using her voice to voice over these things. She did a fantastic job working for me about a year and a half ago. She did a fantastic job working for John Young, Parish President John Young at the time when I was on the Parish Council, and it's no stranger to any of you all. It's Chris Fortunata. I think we need Chris to come in, and she is. She's come in part-time, agreed to come in part-time and take this and run with it. And I'm being told that I froze up. Do y'all still hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. One of the council people said I froze up. So if I missed anything, I'm sorry, but we brought Chris Fortunata back in to get that message across and make sure that the people can feel comfortable with what they're ready to vote on, which is a simple renewal. I want to thank Chris for taking on this task and coming back to the administration, even though it's just part-time. It's important role, and I appreciate y'all's support on the renewal of the millage, putting it out there. Like I said, I believe it was 7-0, and that's important that the people of Kenner are informed properly with someone that they trust and they've seen before in this administration. Chris?
Thanks, Mayor. Really, our mission is to inform and educate the citizens of Kenner, because these are three very important millage renewals for critical services, which include fire protection, garbage, and sewer. All three very vital. So it is our job to inform our citizens on what services are at stake here with the millage renewal, and also to educate them on what the funding from these millages goes to continue these services. So we have hit the ground running. We have already been very busy shooting video for several informational videos to help our citizens understand what will be before them on the ballot. And these millage renewals will come up for vote before the citizens on April 24th. These will be blasted on every resource we have available to us. We are open to suggestions, and we are certainly going to use every resource that we can, which includes a long list of resources available to us. Everything from the 22,000 plus households that receive the Star newspaper, as well as the city property and city resources that we can utilize to get the word out. And also our great civic associations throughout Kenner who are very active and very involved. And we want to make ourselves available for questions. We're going to explore doing a public Zoom meeting, very similar to this council meeting, so that our citizens who may have questions, we can certainly try to answer every one of those. So that's where we are right now. We are well underway in producing these videos, shooting video, writing scripts, interviews, gathering materials and information. So that's where we are.
Councilman, if anybody has any questions, or I'm actually complete. I want to thank the council. If they do have any questions, that's fine, but I want to thank the council for a lengthy mayor's comment section.
Thank you, Mayor. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Fortunato, or just to say hello? Chris, I'm going to go first. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Glad you're doing well, man. Hang in there. If not, I don't see any hands. Madam Clerk.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, this concludes the consent agenda. If I could get a motion in a second.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilwoman McKinney to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Carroll.
Yay.
Councilman Segura.
I think we lost him. I don't see him anymore.
It looks like he's on, but he's muted.
Yeah, I don't see his picture. I just see.
Councilman Hayes.
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan.
Yes.
Councilman Brennan.
Yes.
Councilman McKinney.
Yay.
Councilman Wilmer.
Sorry.
Councilman Wilmer.
Yay.
Councilman Segura.
Council Clerk, yeah, I've lost my other connection. I'm on my phone for temporarily. Yay to the vote, though.
Okay, so we're voting on the consent agenda, just so you know.
Yes,
Figured that.
Motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda, we have item 9, public hearings and final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 12,768, an ordinance approving the sale of a 30,000 square foot unimproved portion of the Georgia Avenue right-of-way between squares 56 and 57, Highway Park Subdivision, Kenner, Louisiana, which said property is owned by the city of Kenner. Mr. Chairman, I've received a request from the applicant as per the planning department that they would like this item removed from the agenda tonight.
Thank you.
I have a motion by Councilmember Hayes, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot for removal of the item.
Council members, please vote.
Councilman Segura. Councilman Hayes.
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan.
Yes.
Councilman Brennan.
Yes.
Councilman McKinney.
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yay.
Councilman Carroll.
Yay.
Councilman Segura, have you joined us? Motion passes 6-0. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution accepting the municipal water pollution prevention environmental audit report for the period of January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020, and to inform the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality that the following actions were taken and additional actions will be taken by the city of Kenner.
Motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilmember McKinney. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Hayes.
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan.
Yes.
Councilman Brennan.
Yeah. Yes.
Councilman McKinney.
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yay.
Councilman Carroll.
Yay.
Councilman Segura. Motion passes 6-0.
Adam, Council, can you try to see if you can help Councilman Segura? He's telling me there's an internet connection issue.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's at his place of residence, but we're working on it.
Okay. Thank you.
His screen is dark. I can't see him. I thought I had his pigmentation on this Zoom meeting, but he's beating me right now. I gotta tell y'all that for sure.
Item 13B, a resolution exercising the third one-year renewal of the July 6, 2015 audit contract with DuPlanche, Ratman, Hogan, and Mayer LLP.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilmember Brannigan to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brannigan.
Yes.
Councilman Brennan.
Yes.
Councilman McKinney.
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yes.
Councilman Carroll.
Yes.
Councilman Hayes.
Yay.
Motion passes 6-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 12,796. An ordinance approving a professional services agreement with MSMM Engineering, LLC regarding Lincoln Manor Subdivision drainage improvements, state facility planning and control project number 50-MF-1-20-01, and an amount not to exceed $164,250 for the Department of Public Works.
Madam Clerk, I'd like to say a few words before we vote.
Okay,
And-
sir, can we put your motion on the floor and then we can have discussion?
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank the administration, Ms. Fauché, and the attorneys for processing this through and working this through, particularly through our legislation and with State Representative Stagney. Also, kudos to Councilman Wilmot, who was a state rep when this first started, but sometimes things go awry, but we didn't give up on it. So I believe that because of all of these individual support, the citizens of the Lincoln Manor subdivision, along with the engineering company, this will be a godsend to the area and just part of what is to come. I forgot to mention Director Tom also as well to supporting this. So we look forward to this going forward. We look forward to supporting the Lincoln Manor subdivision with this advancement. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mayor Zahn.
Councilman, that's a good way of saying it. I think you got everybody in there. I would like to extend it also to your office, but also to Senator Talbert's office, because it has been the state senator also that's been helping with all of us, and also Gary Smith, because I know it's kind of like a fine line there, but those two state senators for doing what they can do, along with everyone who works in the state legislature to make sure this gets done. But long overdue. I'm glad that I'm the mayor, and obviously you're the district councilman that's seen this for a long time. But while this will be done, it'll be under this administration and your district office, because it's long overdue. You know, we get those calls from Rivertown businesses. No, I'm not going to name anybody in particular, but numerous businesses call. There's a flooding problem. So there, just like there is here in Lincoln Manor. So all over the area, there's things that need to be done, and it's important that we get this done, and it will be done. District 1 has a lot of flooding issues. Rivertown will be the next one that we can look into to help with this, just like Lincoln Manor.
Yes. And Mayor, you know, I'm glad you brought that up, because technically all of the gentlemen and the ladies and gentlemen that work in the state legislature are part of a team, and we all need their support. I did not mention the new state rep from the other district north of me. You may want to mention her name as well.
You're right. That's what happens when you start mentioning one person, Debbie Villio. I mean, exactly. all of them have their special projects and obviously their districts, but they all work together. But, you know, just everybody coming together for this, and also what we're doing in the future for Rivertown, where we get those calls, just like we get this in Lincoln Manor. It's across the board to make sure we get this done throughout the city of Kenner. It just seems that you have two major issues with a flooding issue in District 1.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, Councilman Segura look like he's back.
Yes, sir, he is.
Had to relocate, but I'm back.
We're on item 15, sir.
Yes.
Councilman.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And going back to my parish days, Mark Spears was very instrumental in this, and now Byron Lee has really headed this off with us too. So I want to give special thanks there to those two gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we won't forget anyone. So, Madam Clerk, have we voted on this already? Or are we in the middle of it? We have not.
Right.
Okay. So, council members, we're to the vote. Councilman Segura is back. So let's vote to approve.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 12,797. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Barrier Construction Company, LLC, to provide asphalt street maintenance in accordance with sealed bid number 20-6584 and an amount not to exceed $1 million annually for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilmember Wilmot to approve. Councilman, please vote.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 12,798. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid from Parish to supply uniforms citywide in accordance with sealed bid number 20-6584 and an amount not to exceed $30,000 for the Department of General Services.
Motion by Councilmember Segura, second by Councilmember Hayes to approve. Councilman, please vote.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKenney.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15D, summary ordinance number 12,799, an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Dom Development Corporation for the miscellaneous carpentry work labor only, increasing the agreement of $90,000 to a new not to exceed amount of $150,000 for the Department of General Services.
Motion by Councilmember Hayes, second by Councilwoman McKinney to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKenney,
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 12,800. An ordinance ratifying the emergency repairs to the Rivertown Theater roof due to the damages sustained in Hurricane Zeta in the amount of $5,120 for the Department of General Services.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Brennan to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKenney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 12,801, an ordinance authorizing the utilization of state contract number 4400016148 to purchase various types of ammunition from Gulf States Distributors Incorporated on an as-needed basis not to exceed $35,000 per year for the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember Segura for approval. Councilman, please vote.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKenney,
Yay.
Councilmember Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 12,802, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Jack B. Carver Electrical LLC to provide installation of emergency vehicle preemption equipment along Loyola Drive in accordance with sealed bid number 20-6568 and an amount not to exceed $68,000 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Wilmot to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKenney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15H is summary ordinance number 12,803. An ordinance authorizing the purchase of office supplies on an as-needed basis, utilizing the Jefferson Parish contract with Louisiana Office Products Incorporated, proposal number 50-001-30704, not to exceed $125,000 annually.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Wilmot for approval. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKenney,
Yay.
Councilmember Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilmember Carroll,
Yay.
Councilmember Segura,
Yay.
Councilmember Hayes,
Yay.
Councilmember Brannigan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15I is summary ordinance number 12,804. An ordinance ratifying an emergency purchase for parts and labor in the amount of $5,906.78 from Lee Tractor Company for the Department of Parkways.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember Wilmot to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilmember McKinney,
Yay.
Councilmember Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilmember Carroll,
Yay.
Councilmember Segura,
Yay.
Councilmember Hayes,
Yay.
Councilmember Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Mr. Chairman and members of the council, we have someone from the public that would like to address on the next item. So after you call your motion, please wait to vote until we can let the public speak on the next item. Item 15J is summary ordinance number 12,805, an ordinance to approve an amendment number 1 to the agreement between the City of Kenner and Han Enterprises Incorporated, increasing the agreement amount to $95,000 annually.
Motion by Councilmember Segura, second by Councilmember Brannigan to approve. Adam.
Mr. Al Morella would like to speak.
Mr. Morella, you have the floor.
Okay, Al Morella, 4260 East Rayola Drive, 5th District, 49 years. I take it this amendment number 1 is the same thing as the change order. 15D was self-explanatory, but I'd like to know why this agreement is being increased to $95,000 annually.
Council Chairman, if you'd let me handle that, I can answer that.
Yes, sir. Mr. Pitchfield.
So we currently, this was a contract that we have in place, which was a cap previously of $50,000. We had damage and vandalism caused to one particular playground that we have an estimate to fix it for $45,000. So that would have basically left us without any more money in the contract to be able to do any future repairs. So this is simply a raising of the cap on the safety surface at the playgrounds.
Thank you, Mr. Pitchfield. Mr.
You're
Al,
welcome.
are you finished, Mr. Morella?
Thank you, man. I just said thank you. I'll say it again. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now we can vote. Council members, please vote.
Councilmember Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilmember Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15K is summary ordinance number 12,806. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Economical Janitorial and Paper Supplies LLC for the purchase of janitorial supplies citywide in accordance with seal bid number 20-6586 and an amount not to exceed $45,000 annually for the Department of General Services.
Motion by Councilmember Hayes, second by Councilmember Brennan to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0 to approve. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance approving the plan of re-subdivision of lots B-3A-1-A and B-3A-1-B into lot B-3A-1-B1, University City, Loyola Tract, Kenner Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, which lots are owned by Alluvia Apartments LLC, and approving a planned unit development on new lot B-3A-1-B1 to allow the construction of a 260-unit apartment complex and associated parking garages and a clubhouse, all located on lot B-3A-1-B1, University City, Loyola Tract, Kenner Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. Item 16B is an ordinance approving the plan of re-subdivision of lot D3-A1-A into lots D3-A1-B and D3-A1-C, Highway Park Subdivision, WWL Tract, Kenner Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, which lot is owned by Unfolded Property Development Group, LLC. Item 16C is an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances for of Chapter 15, Section 56A of the Kenner Code of Ordinances to establish a no parking zone on Plantation Drive. Item 16D is an ordinance amending the Kenner Code of Ordinances, Chapter 7, Article 9, Section 7-166 of the Kenner Code of Ordinances to establish regulation of unnecessary noise. Item 16E is an ordinance ratifying the emergency replacement of the motors for the treatment plant north blowers numbers 1 and 2 by Motors and Controls Incorporated in the amount of $28,692 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 17 is reports from the council and or special committees. I see none.
I don't, yes, Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had an opportunity to print out some of the report on the citywide road assessment. And I wanted to see, I couldn't print out the whole thing. It's 216 pages long. And I was hoping that maybe for the public's view, that we might be able to post that on our city's website. Is that possible?
So,
Mayor Zion, you have the floor, sir.
Councilman, we're working with IT to see if it is possible because there's a little bit of an issue. That's why we have to hand deliver it to you all because it is so big and it is so in detail. We are working with that. I'm not going to promise it, but we would like to do the best thing that we can, or maybe just summarize certain areas as we're doing an area, maybe put that online. So there's some things that we're exploring. That's why we're going to hand deliver the copies to you.
And I do understand that it's lengthy and it's, so it's.
But we're working on it.
Yeah, I understand. And Ms. Foshi, I see you have your hand raised. If Mr. President, if she may speak.
Yes, sir. Associate, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. Council members, the document that you have that Councilman Wilmot has started printing out that's 200 pages is a summary of the report. That's not the report.
Exactly.
So what you'll be receiving by hand, or we're talking about maybe we can different thumb drive or something, is much larger than that. So what you have really in the 200 pages is the highlights of the report. So we will do our best to get both the summary as well as the full document up on the webpage, accessible as soon as we figure out the technology to allow us to do that.
Beautiful. Thank you both. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would agree, just based on my experience with in every capacity, my professional and on the council, all of that information, when you throw it out there to people, it becomes infinity. And it is better, I have learned to do stuff in bullet points, to break it down and to put it out there. And to people who want to research it, to go into the fine print, give them an opportunity. But if you put all that out there, people are just not going to read it. You know, they need to be able to read something within a reasonable time to have some understanding. So I'm glad that we're doing that and, making it as easy as we can for people to ask questions to us. Councilman Segura, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Well, just to add to what Councilman Wilmot was asking, yeah, the full 200-something plus page document will be hard to put on the city's website, but the summary that we each received, as I recall, I had to relocate, so I don't have it with me right now, was only about 4 or 5 pages. And the key to it is it breaks it down by district as to how much money is needed in each of those districts. And it shows a city map, which has color codes, those bad streets and the good streets. So that's what I would look for the administration to try to get up as quick as possible where people can see.
Thank you, council member. Any more comments on that? I see no hands, but I'd just like to say that in recognition of Black History Month, I would like to commemorate and thank everyone who's taken some part, from teachers, students, administration to City of Kenner, that commemorate this and to celebrate this around the country. Obviously, because of COVID, we, the City of Kenner, had to do another venue for our MLK parade as part of it. But, we will be back again in no time soon. So I'd like to, thank also the General Services Department that has done a great job year in and year out in providing information, pictures, things that celebrate the city of Kenner African American community and the parts we've played in the city of Kenner. So thank those guys for their hard work, all the men and women for that. And I'd just like to give a little information as it relates to, Black History Month. Started February the 7th, 1926. Originally it was a week, and then it moved into a month. It was started by Mr. Carter G. Woodson. And Mr. Woodson chose February for reasons of tradition and reform, and to encompass the birthday of two great Americans who played a prominent role of our country history. It was Abraham Lincoln, whose birthday is February the 12th, and Frederick Douglass, who is February the 14th. And I think by adding those two individuals, what he did was, obviously for individuals like myself and who look like me, for African Americans, it was important, but also to stress the point that African American history is part of American history, and it should be viewed like that for everyone to learn. I also read where during the Civil War, during the Civil Rights movements, schools integrated into their curriculum to achieve and to add to the social change. So the month itself is only 28 days, but it is something that we all have come to recognize and to implement into our daily lives, around the whole year. So thank everybody for their participation in that. I'd like to thank the Attorney's Office. I'd like to thank the Attorney's Office and General Services also for their support and the legislation for the no parking signs on Plantation Drive. It was something that was beginning to cause a safety issue in that subdivision. And I'm glad we're able to go forward with this. Thank you very much. Any more hands? Madam Clerk, I do not see any.
Okay, sir. Item 19 is unfinished business and motions to reconsider or remove from a table position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Adam?
Mr. Al Morella is up first.
Mr. Morella, you have the floor.
4260 East Railroad Drive, 5th District, 49 years. Numbers on the coronavirus as of yesterday. Total tests 5,579,911. Positive cases 358,862. Negative cases 5,221,049. Total recoveries 380,673. My question to Doug Doak, as of yesterday, you had 40,000 positive cases in Jefferson Parish. I want to know how many of them cases is now in Kenner. When I'm done with my comments, please. Next item. The mayor talked about the Esplanade Mall. There's an article in the Kenner Star about the revitalization. But back in October, I brought to the attention of the council that the Esplanade Mall owes the city of Kenner $250,000 in unpaid property taxes, $170,000, which goes back 28 years ago. I want to know if that money's been recovered since we're talking about the mall, and if it hasn't, I want to know what initiatives are you all taking to recover that money. Next item, at the last council meeting, there was discussion about the $215,000 that settles the Ramelli case. No one talked about legal fees. If there was any legal fees that the city of Kenner had incurred along with that $250,000, I'd like to know what they were. Now, one more thing. The mayor gave a proclamation. I'd like to set in motion to get a proclamation for Monty Briggs, VFW Post 7732 commander who just passed away. I'm familiar with the routine, but as soon as I get together, since I don't have any of them computers or new email or nothing like that, I'm going to have to get together with someone to get this thing in motion, to get a proclamation for Monty Briggs. Anybody got any comments, any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Morella. Mayor Zahn.
Thank you.
Mr. Morella, I'm glad you brought the Money Briggs thing, and doing a proclamation there. Councilman Brennan and I are working on something right now, to get that done for the next council meeting. We didn't have, not that we didn't have time, but, we wanted to do these two tonight, but we'll be working on that. And we should have probably recognized him early on. Miscommunication between myself and Councilman Brennan. I thought he was going to do it. He thought I was going to do it. So thank you for acknowledging that. And we will, if you could, I will have someone get in touch with you, probably Michelle Lawler, to work on that. And we'll put that together and get that into a proclamation form. And I'll probably, if you can get in touch with the family, if there's some family members, to have them attend the next council meeting, if you get us the information, have those family members attend, if you could.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Adam? Who's next?
Mr. Greg Teft. But I think Doug Dote was going to deliver some numbers for Mr. Morella.
Okay, sorry about that, Director. You have the floor.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Morella. The cumulative total from the Department of Health for Kenner is 6,846 cases in Kenner since March of last year.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. And just as a FYI or courtesy to everyone, when Mr. Morella says China virus, he's really talking about COVID-19. So please disregard that comment. It is about COVID-19. Thank you, Mr. Dalton. Adams next.
Mr. Greg Teft, you're next. You can unmute yourself.
Mr. Taft, you have the floor, sir.
Greg Taft on West Loyola Drive in Kenner. I just have one thing I want to bring up. Back in 2019, if we all recall, the spillway was open and a lot of sediment got pushed into where the launch is, which is creating a problem because people, when the tide is down, you have a lot of sediment in there that makes it where boats have a hard time passing. I know that Councilman Impastato, I know, is working on having a barrier. My question is that I realize that due to the pandemic and everything, that money is probably real tight. So finding the money to have that done may be very, very difficult. My question has to be, and I don't know who can help me, or if I need to do it myself, is it possible to get the state to dredge it, since the state and federal government is the one that opened up the spillway in the first place, which is what pushed everything in. So I'm not real sure what we can do without having the city to have to come up with the funding or a way to get that area dredged. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taft. Attorney, excuse me, Ms. Fauché, you have the floor.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Taft, for raising that topic. There's two separate projects going on out there. One is the renovation of the boat launch, which will include dredging of that particular area. And one is installing a breakwater, which will give us a more permanent solution. As I understand it, the parish has funding for the breakwater, and want to thank Councilman Impastato and others on Parish Council for helping us with that. Go Mesa money is being explored for the breakwater. So some discussion is being had about federal funding for the breakwater, but currently there is state and local funding, parish funding, which is already in play for the boat launch. And I don't think the gentlemen from Principal Engineering are still on, but they are involved in that project as well. So we can get you an update for next time.
Thank you, Ms. Fauché. Councilman Brannigan, is your hand up? You want to speak? Okay. Adam, who's next?
Miss Stacy.
Miss Stacy, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to talk a little bit more about that $215,000 settlement. I just have a couple of questions. You know, back when you guys were thinking about awarding that second garbage contract, Citizens for Better Kenner came to you and begged y'all to please put that off to discuss it a little bit more, because we were worried that we were going to be facing, lawsuits over this. And sure enough, we're in multiple lawsuits because of, the way that was all handled. And I want to talk about the one lawsuit that's been settled recently. It was the federal lawsuit, and it stemmed from when Rebelli had his garbage cans out, and so did Ivy Waste. And there was kind of a little confusion over as to what was going on. And Rebelli got issued 22,000 citations for littering, I believe. And it subjected him to, like, I don't know, $10 million in fines and 3,000 years in jail. It was something crazy. So Rebelli filed a lawsuit against the city. And he alleged that this was, I want to say it right because it was an abuse of power, and it was done solely to harass him. That's what his lawsuit alleged. This was all about harassment. It didn't mention any outstanding services or anything, because those are all are monies. That's all covered in a separate lawsuit. This one was only about harassment, basically. Maybe other things, but so then the city settles this one for $215,000 of taxpayer, our money, the citizens' money we gave to Rebelli. And then when I asked at the last council meeting, well, what did the citizens get for that $215,000? I was told that it was money, or I seen it in the newspaper. I don't remember specifically what I was told, but we've been told, the public has been told, that this was money that the city already owed Rebelli. So my question is, if you have a federal lawsuit that's for harassment, it doesn't even ask about any money. That $15,000, that money be for something else that we owed them. Like, what, that $215,000, I want to know, what was that for specifically? Like, what bill did it get paid? What did the citizens get for that money? What service did we get? Because I feel like that was just damages that the citizens paid. Okay, so thank you. Can you guys just please answer, council, can you answer to me, what was that $215,000 specifically for? What was paid to Rebelli? What outstanding bill was paid to Rebelli, owed him $215,000? I just want to know. That's all. Thank you.
I guess Attorney Rapier, I guess you would be the one to take this question.
You're right, Councilman, but we have ongoing litigation with the Rebelli case, and and it is the city's policy not to discuss litigation. It's ongoing.
Is this one ongoing, the 215?
It is all.
I'm talking about a suit that's settled, not an ongoing suit.
Miss Stacy, I'm gonna give you 30 minutes to close. I was in the middle of a question with the attorney. So is the 215 settled, or is it ongoing?
The 215, Councilman, I'll say it again. We do not, it is the city's policy that we do not discuss ongoing litigation. Yes, this case is settled, but the other case for which this ends up probably being a part of it is not at this point in time. Therefore, the city will not discuss it at this point in time.
Okay, just for the sake of me getting a better understanding, I like to see that settlement, those documents from the settlement, come to your office, take a look at them, if you don't mind.
I'll provide them to you, Councilman.
Okay, I'll appreciate that. You don't have to email it. I'll come and get it. Don't email it to me. I'd rather get it from you.
Yes, sir. Let me know. Since we're working remotely, let me know, and I'll be glad to meet you.
Yeah, we can meet up. Thank you very much, Attorney. Miss Stacy, you have 30 seconds to close out.
Well, thank you. I don't understand. This case is settled. It's done. It's over with. I'm not asking about any other case. I'm asking specifically this case that we've paid $215,000 for. What was that for? I'm not asking about other cases. I'm just asking about this case. It seems very shady that I can't get an answer just about this 215 for this case, but thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stacy. Mr. Adam, who's next?
Mr. Richard Brown.
Mr. Brown, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Adam. I want to follow up on that lawsuit as well. Do I understand from Mr. Rapier that this was more than just a settlement of the federal court claims, that this involves a settlement of other claims or other issues as well? Is that correct, Mr. Rapier?
Mr. Brown, what did I say a minute ago?
Well, you're saying that
I'm not going to discuss ongoing litigation at this point in time.
But again, I'm asking about this case. This case has been settled and dismissed for $215,000. But you have implied that it involves other cases as well. I'm just trying to find out, was this a settlement just of this case or a settlement of other things as well?
Mr. Brown, I will say it again. It's the city's policy not to discuss ongoing litigation. We have ongoing litigation with Mr. Romelli's companies, and until all litigation is completed, I'm not going to discuss any of it.
All right. I have another question, since this was, according to the court's order and with what I've seen and heard in the newspaper articles, settlement of a case for $215,000. Why did this not go before the council for the council to approve the settlement?
Mr. Brown, not going to discuss ongoing litigation.
So you're not going to tell us why the city paid $215,000 to settle the case without getting council approval? Is there a statutory or city charter provision or something that would permit this? I thought it was customary for the council to approve settlements.
Mr. Brown, you have about 35 seconds. I'm going to give the floor to Council Member Hayes, who has his hand up. Council Member Hayes, you have the floor.
Mr. Brown, you were an attorney at one time. So again, I just simply ask you to understand what our situation is, even though you're not an attorney right now.
Do I have my time back, Mr.
Yes,
President?
Sir. Mr. Brown, you do.
Yeah,
45 seconds.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I do understand, and I understand how settlements work, and I'm pretty sure that this was a settlement of this case. I just cannot understand how it impacts other cases. But let me ask this: the mayor was included as an individual defendant in this case. The suit was against the city and against the mayor, both individually and as mayor. Was this settlement that was paid, was it partly in settlement of the claim against the mayor?
Mr. Brown, the document, the court order says that it settled, that all claims of the federal court case were settled and dismissed.
Okay, well, then finally, can you tell us then what budget, line item this was paid out of?
It was, Mr. Brown, again, I'm not getting into it because there's still ongoing litigation.
Well, this should be public record. What budget item was it paid out of? What line item?
Council Chairman.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
I mean, these questions continue. It seems like it continues every council meeting. I think our city attorney, not mine, not yours, our city attorney, he sounds like a broken record, only because he keeps getting asked the same question over and over again. Could you please intercede?
I appreciate that, Mayor, and I'm going to give everybody their 3 minutes, even if they're redundant sometime, and I'm not going to try to determine how a person comprehends or what they hear. So at the end of 3 minutes, and Mr. Brown is at the end of 3 minutes, Mr. Brown, if you want to ask this next council meeting, you're going to have to come back next council meeting to address.
No, thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Adams, Who next? Who's next?
Mr. Kenny Ford.
Mr. Ford, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, Mr. Ford, you have the floor.
Hey, I have a question for Chief Glazer. I'm sure you're aware lately of the kind of like the homemade fireworks, or they're almost like bombs that have been going off lately back in Grand Lake area. Is there anything to do or anything the public can do to try to help stop this?
Mr. Ford, I am not sure if the chief is still connected to the Zoom.
I'm here. I'm still here.
Okay, Chief. All right, Mr. Ford, the chief is here. Chief, you have the floor.
Oh, I'm well aware of it. I actually hear them sometimes myself. Unless they come very quickly. If the public would tell us an area, if they consistently in the same 100 block of a street or certain part of a subdivision where we can narrow a search down. I said it before. I don't know if it was in the public during one of these council meetings or in another meeting where I was standing in front of a business in Kenner. Car came by and tossed one out the window. I wasn't paying attention to the car until the boom went off, and by that time, the car was several blocks away and nowhere near where we could identify the car to whatever the device was thrown out the car. But the public can give us information. That's pretty much, and we can take it with concrete information, and we'll make arrests.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr. Ford. Mr. Adams, who's next?
I see no other hands, Councilman.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam. I do not see any other hands from the council or administration. So a motion to adjourn. Second by Councilman Brennan to adjourn. Thank you.